This will be a video response to Daniel Kiran, otherwise known as Nad Narik, his video titled Atheists If You Could Believe. In his video, he asks one very simple question. If you could know without doubt that scripture was true, how would it change your life? Well, first of all, the question itself is fairly flawed, considering how you phrase it in a way that suggests absolute certainty. And there's nothing that we can be absolutely certain of in this universe, save for our own existence because of cogito ergo sum. So right off the bat, the question is pretty darn flawed, but I think we could change that. How about you use the more intellectually honest language of, if scripture was beyond a reasonable doubt proven true, then how would it affect your life? If you're referring to Christian scripture in particular, because that's what I presume you're referring to, then that would be a pretty significant change to my life. The very first thing on my mind would be, how did I go so wrong? How did I go so wrong as to not understand before that scripture was in fact true, or at least true beyond a reasonable doubt? Where in my logical thought process, where in my rationale, where in my standard of proof did I go wrong? As you probably guessed, and as everyone who watches my videos regularly on YouTube, I am an agnostic atheist, meaning I find no credible evidence currently for the existence of any god or gods. So the first thing I would like to know, if it was proven to me that scripture was true beyond a reasonable doubt, where did I go wrong in my thought process? The second thing I would really want to know is how the scientific method in any way failed to take for account the apparent truth of scripture. Uh, it is so unbiased and it has such a good track record and it's worked for thousands of years, and yet it did not take into account this one supposed truth. That would be my main question. Where in the scientific method was there a failing, or where in the process did something go wrong? I would also be very interested in seeing some of the mechanisms explained in the Bible, like the earth splitting in two, the earth having four corners, although many take that to be figurative, a global flood when that is not scientifically possible, the creation, the whole account of creation in 7 days. I would like to know how that's possible, and how the evidence that we currently have as of now is not in any way sufficient or viable because of the truthfulness of this scriptural account of creation. I mean, this is a fairly dramatic change you're talking about here, because if everything in the Bible were proven to be true beyond a reasonable doubt, that would essentially flip a lot of modern science up upon its head. Now, I'm pretty sure most people in the audience, probably you included, would be more interested in knowing how I would act out my life, knowing that scripture was true, and knowing that God and Jesus do in fact exist. Well, to say the least, I wouldn't be an atheist anymore, would I now? I would probably be a deist, at least someone who recognizes the existence of God and Jesus. Would I be a theist or would I be a Christian? Well, absolutely not. Do you know why? It's because I find your God, at least how he's portrayed in the Bible, to be absolutely reprehensible. To the point where even history's greatest dictators don't even hold a candle to what he's done. Now, of course, you and presumably all other theists can try and justify this in various ways, whether it be appealing to authority, or stating that it's out of context, or that it's meant to be taken figuratively, you know, the typical theist justifications for these things. But the fact remains that unless I hear it from myself, from this God, why he decided to massacre a bunch of children, why he decided to massacre entire towns for having non-believers, why he decided to just commit a whole litany of atrocities, and then condemn his own followers and people who don't even follow him to a lifetime of punishment when they do the exact same thing that he does, and yet he doesn't feel entitled to punishment himself. I'd like to know why. I would also like to know why I should follow this egocentric form of morality and how it will benefit me and my fellow mankind, because quite frankly, I see absolutely no benefits with regards to biblical morality. Now, if you're wondering if I would change my ways and become a Christian because heaven and hell are real places, then you'd better think again. Because even if I were miraculously offered the chance to go to heaven, while everyone else around me were to go to hell, I would have to politely decline that offer. If your God is as you describe him to be, then your God would probably know me better than I know myself. And your God will understand why I disagree with him and why I disagree with some of the things that he's done. And he will understand that I'm at least honest about me disagreeing with him instead of putting up some lame facade and going, "Oh, thank you, Jesus, thank you, God." And if your God can't understand why I disagree with him, or if it is simply irrelevant to him in any way, then I'd have to say then I wouldn't enjoy spending eternity with him by his side. I would not enjoy spending eternity next to a God whose sense of righteousness and whose sense of goodness and kindness will always be trumped by his vanity. I will not enjoy spending eternity in heaven while others who are like me, or maybe people better than me, who just simply could not, or by any means were unable to believe or find the evidence for this particular God's existence, I would not be able to watch as those people suffered for eternity while I could do nothing to help them, and that I was encouraged to do nothing to help them. So, ironically enough, being given the chance to go to heaven, the go to heaven free card, something that Christians have once upon a time killed, raped, stolen, maimed, and died for, would essentially be like trapping me in my own personal form of hell. That's my answer. Thanks for watching, and may the truth always be heard.